Hey, welcome to Cubs. This is Miss Paddock. I'm going to be giving you some instructions on the activity you're going to be doing today, tomorrow, and Friday, and possibly a little bit into next week. This week's activity is based on annotating informational text. Your teachers have a stack of magazines, and these are your magazines to write in. They're also going to have an annotation guide, and that tells you all the different annotation symbols and what to do with them, and those you'll get from your teacher. You're also going to need your Cubs journal, and you're going to need a pen or a marker. You have all your supplies gathered. The first thing you need to do is you need to read this entire annotation guide. It gives you the symbol that you need to use. It tells you what that symbol means if you haven't already gone over this with your ELA teacher, and then it tells you what to do with that symbol. Once you've made that symbol on the text, then what's the next step? And it has everything from underline words or phrases that you do not understand. Now, pay close attention. It says if you cannot identify the word with context clues, then write the definition. You're not going to be using your Chromebooks just yet for this activity. We may move into that next week. And without the help of a dictionary, you're going to have to really rely on context clues. And that means reading the sentence, reading the sentences around it to try to understand what that word means. And anytime you come across a word that you don't understand, whether you figure out what it means through context clues or not, at that point, you're going to write those words in your journal. In addition to writing vocabulary in your journal, some of these things require you to write a little bit more than just circle it and write a question mark. So for example, draw an arrow to anything you make a connection with. That connection and those experiences, draw the arrow on the magazine, but then take your journal, and you're going to have this right beside you. That's where you can write the connections. So the annotation is going to happen on the magazine, but then you're going to be writing the follow-up connections, ideas, thoughts into the journal. I wanted to show you a little bit of what that looks like. I do have one of the magazines that some of you will be getting. The headline is The Rise of Fake News. And so I'm going to take the article on that topic, Fake News Fools Millions, and I'm going to annotate this text. I'm going to mark it up with the symbols that I have on my annotation guide, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have read and annotated my article on fake news, and so I started with the front page, and right off the bat I felt that the way they presented the title of the article deserved a circle, because that is a powerful word or phrase. So, and I don't want to give too many of the my annotations away, because I want you to do your own if you have this particular magazine. But fake news fools millions sounds like a big deal. So I went ahead and I circled that. And then I also drew an arrow, because down here in this paragraph it talks a little bit about how fake news affected or had a part in the election. Turning over to the other side, you'll see I have marked up my book. So yes, you can write in these books. I have marked mine up. Anything that's bold or was in red, I circled, because I felt like those were powerful words and phrases. I also did the numbers where the author is making their point. So the author, he or she makes a good point here. He or she makes gives a specific example here. Number 2, I've got a question mark, and so I've just written all over this. And then I did use the exclamation point, because a lot of times in these articles there'll be this sort of little sidebar, and I felt like if you only read this one part, you wouldn't get the full story on fake news. But this is a good takeaway from the fake news article that I can use going forward. Next, I'm going to show you what that looks like in my journal. Alright, so I have my annotated article, and then I've taken all of those annotations and I've transferred them over to my journal. So for example, I had circled fake news fools millions, and my comment to that is a lot of people, and I underlined a lot twice. I had a personal connection, so it had the arrow on my article, because I saw a lot of articles on Facebook and things like Twitter, different social media, and now I wonder which ones were the real ones and which ones were the fake ones. I really liked the part about how to spot fake news, because as a librarian and as someone who likes to read the news, I want to make sure that I'm not reading something fake, because I don't want to then spread that fake information out to people I know after I read something. So verify, I made sure I put that and I underlined it, because I feel like that's really important. If it's not being reported anywhere else, then maybe it's fake news. And then I put look for clues, and I even gave myself a little reminder. I made it look like a magnifying glass, so whatever the clues are, look for clues to see what makes it real or what makes it fake news. So that's the basics of what you're going to be doing for the next couple days. You will all get your very own magazine. Some of you will get this exact magazine. Some of you will get different magazines. You may be in a social studies class and you may get a science magazine. You may be in a science class and get a social studies magazine. But these are your magazines to mark up with all your great annotations. And then again, you'll all get a copy of the annotation guide. And of course, you already have your Cubs journal, where you can do all your good reflecting and connections and taking all the annotations and transferring them over. Teachers, thank you for showing this video. Students, good luck with this activity. Teachers, if you have any questions, please email me and I'll do my best to get you an answer or get you some help.